What's up guys, Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review today with our first VOD of patch 17.2. If you guys do not know what's in this patch, I'll have a link to the patch notes in the description down below. There were a ton of changes. The first actually we're seeing already right here because this is a Twisted Fate encounter game. Now TF encounter is just triple gold augment, so nothing too crazy there honestly, but definitely something that is going to shake up the games a lot. Is just most games are going to have an encounter back to, previous sets. They basically said, maybe they thought originally, maybe it's going to be too crowded where we put encounters plus gods. And then I think a lot of people were like, nah, we want encounters in the game. And so now they're encounters. There's some really crazy ones that I'm honestly a little bit afraid of, but we don't have one of those this game. We have a very chill one, triple gold augment. And so we can chill with that. Another thing that was changed pretty considerably is this unit that we have on our board right now, a 2-star Cho'gath. Cho'gath got a big buff to his scaling and a big buff just to his base HP. So this guy is a lot better now, and it's actually a lot more realistic to think about playing a potentially, Cho'gath reroll line. We see some decent augments here, maybe looking at the buried treasures here as a potential, reroll line, but we actually are going to reroll it with, trade sector and other solid options about here. Someone took the Meepsy augment, which did actually get nerfed. We see early learnings here, which also did get nerfed as well pretty hard. Now only gives 1% AD and AP at 2-1, but still, we do end up taking it here because this augment, I think, is still going to be very solid. And we do also fit in another one of these changed traits, 2 Timebreaker. So back in my day, back in 17.1, 2 Timebreaker was an econ trait. Every single time you lose, if we lost this round, which we did here, you would get a free reroll. No longer, all the econ is now on the 3 Timebreaker trait. This is a lot more balanced, means that you can't just, full open with 2 Timebreaker every single early game and get a free early game. So I think it makes a lot of sense balance-wise. What it does also is it buffs up a bit the early game for this line that we are going to lock ourselves into this game. This is going to be a Cho'gath Ezreal reroll line. And this is a comp that, people have been playing it since PBE. This is not like a line where it's like, oh my god, I've never seen this line before, but it was pretty mediocre. I know TFT Academy had it in like C tier, my tier list on my Google Sheet had it in C tier. The line is just a little underwhelming, I would say, on the previous patch. But on this patch, I think there's actually a lot of merit in playing it. Timebreaker opener is buffed up, Cho'gath got buffed up, Ezreal also got buffed up. So all of these lines, or all of the units in this comp got buffed up pretty considerably. Brawler itself also got buffed up as well. So there's a lot of reason to potentially play this line. Also, Riri is just clearing out his team planner here. Something interesting is we actually managed to get the 3 Timebreaker in here because we found the Pantheon. All right, let's look at our god selection here. Don't think these are any new ones. There are some new options about, but this is just Steamroll and just the regular Kale one that gives you a Glove and a Tear. Glove and a Tear, really good components for this Ezreal. And oh my god, because we're lost streaking, we get the chance at a 2-star 1 cost, and we get probably the best one we could get here, was such 2-star Cho'gath. So now all of a sudden we have 6 Cho'gaths printed up, which is really, really nice. And our Cho is obviously scaling up with this early slam on the gargoyles, of the gargoyles. So if you want to know how to play this line, I think that one of the most important things, I think there's 2 components to it that you really need. And if you don't have these 2 conditions, you should probably not be playing this line. Condition 1 is early 2-star of either Cho or Ezreal. These are both scaling units. They are snowballing units. The more kills you get with Cho'gath, the more HP you have, the more takedowns you get with Ezreal, the more drones you get, which does, more damage. So you really want to snowball. You don't want to end up in the situation, even here, we're on a 4 loss, but it's really not the worst because we're still killing units. We're still having relatively long fights. So it's really not even that bad. But you can see, we started the game with the Cho'gath too. And the other thing that I think is really important to have in this comp is items. The fact that we had a slam for the Cho'gath, I think is really, really big here. Also, check this out from Riri here, who also, I guess I didn't mention, but we were VOD reviewing Riri, the Japanese player, very, very solid player, is always grinding it on day 1 of the new patch, right as it comes out. So he's one of the best people to watch, is just getting a ton of reps in. So honestly, if you want to see more content of the new patch, if maybe, by the time this VOD drops, it should be released everywhere. I'm recording this the night before, so you should be fine. You can just queue up your own game. But hey, if you want to watch content of the new patch and you want to, you know, just dip your feet in very, very slowly into it, then you can certainly watch more of his games as well, because he's probably gonna have a long VOD of a lot of TFT. Rod drop. Pretty mediocre, I will say, for this Ezreal reroll line. At least we have this Reforger here. He is going to use his free rolls to roll down a bit, and we do hit this big thing, which is Ezreal 2 here. Now that we're one off Cho'gath Ezreal here, I think we're going to roll pretty deep to try to find it, and we do. This is really, really, really nice here. Gonna reroll this. Oh, wow. Reroll full death cap here, hoping to find something. Oh, and we find Archangels. That is the downside to doing that. But his thought process was just, death cap's really bad in this line. I mean, best case, I can make like a Crown Guard or a Morello or something, but these items aren't even that great onto Cho'gath, so I'll just full Reforge and try to find something better. I mean, honestly, this Archangel is just going to have to go into Cho, which is hilarious. We do see Solo Plate, but we already have a Gargoyle. I don't love Solo Plate that much. The upside is it's another item for Cho'gath. So it looks like he might end up just grabbing this because, you know, going back to what we talked about, you do really want items very badly for the Cho'gath. Now, the downside is this Archangel and Tyr are kind of stranded here, and we are 0 components for Ezreal. I will say, if this game looks good, if the comp looks solid from here, then this comp is probably quite good. We do have obviously a very good augment for it and the quite early Cho 3, but our items are pretty disastrous in this spot. 0 Ez items at 3-2 is not really what you want to be looking at. Another very, very interesting fact here, you're going to see, check out what happens when we win this fight. We get this little econ orb here, the XP. It's worth 3. It is worth 3 gold here for winning on stage 2 with 3 Timebreaker in. That is an insane amount of XP that this trait can farm. One of my TFT buds, Disco, said that he actually had a Timebreaker game early on, just like probably his first game on the patch, queued it up, got a Timebreaker emblem, had that on stage 2, and was just farming tons of XP. So they've actually, because Timebreaker is at 3 is where you get the econ, and the idea is this trait really doesn't provide you that much combat strength. They're giving you a lot of econ here. Ooh, this is a new one. I have to translate this one because I have no clue what the icon means. Oh, so this is the new one where whenever you craft an item, the next item that you craft, you get a copy of one of the 2 components used to craft that item. So the idea is if you make a Gwynsu's Rageblade, you have 50-50 shot of getting a bow or a rod. Really, really nice. Only problem is it's attached to a cloak here, and we kind of need the sword for Ezreal here. So yeah, I do think we're gonna have to take, I believe that's a 2-star 3 cost here. We do get the Thomas Kench, which is a great pickup for us. So I'm loving that. TK, they changed in quite a few ways as well. I mean, one, they did straight up just buff this guy. He's just a better unit these days. They also said they decreased his odds. They said decreased odds of printing gold and printing champions, which I'm not sure what if that means he's more likely to print components now. One thing that I did actually learn today, that was true last patch, but I didn't even know, is that Tom Kench, if you leave a component open for a utility item, so we have this glove open, there is a chance that Tom Kench will print you the other half of a utility item here. So there's a chance that Tom Kench will actually like print us a bow here for Last Whisper, or if you have a belt open, there's a chance he'll print you like a chain for Sunfire or a cloak for Even Shroud. Which is kind of crazy. I've seen it happen like once or twice, and I didn't realize that's what he prints. With that logic, the only item in the game that he would never be able to print is a sword, because sword can never build into utility. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Also interesting, you know, Milio got buffed up pretty considerably here, so we're going to use Milio as our item carry for the mid game here. It's a Milio 2. Why shouldn't we carry him? And Ezreal does, like we talked about, he farms on takedowns, not necessarily kills. So it's not really the end of the world if you know, your Milio's getting all of your kills, as long as Ezreal is getting some takedowns. And we are even holding on to a few Milios. I mean, will this be a Cho'gath Timebreaker reroll, with the idea being that we can actually roll for Milio 3 with these AP items? I mean, we'll see. It's definitely something that I think could happen, though. Do know you definitely want to lean into the Ezreal with his scaling and with the fact that we are early learnings here. All right, we do not get yet the sword for IE. That is, you know, LW if we want it. That is a lot of Milio, so he's going to have to decide now if he wants to go for it. And he actually skips a few and then finds a few more. One off Ez3. Really need to find Ez this round. Oh, that is a really gross roll down. Very unfortunate. We do get the sword here, which can make an IE. I mean, you could even think about the Nasher Slam. Yeah, I think it's very reasonable to make this here. Not necessarily the best item in the world on Ezreal. It's kind of a little, probably too much mana gen here. Ideally, you want like Deathblade last item on Ezreal here. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's an item. Also funny that we actually ended up spending some of our EXP to level there because we didn't even think about the fact that we had so much banked already. I mean, Sunfire board seems great to me. We don't have heal cut. It gives us heal cut. We're missing heal cut. I guess you could think about taking the heal. Yeah, I think it's just an easy. Ooh, he sees Clockwork Accelerator here and says, you know what? Who cares about heal cut? I would rather just get the scaling attack speed on this board. This Cho'Gath's going to last me a long, long time. And I can just let him sit on the front line, tank forever, and have Ezreal slowly gain this attack speed and then pop off. Interested to see what this enemy board here does. This is the Meepsy Hero Augment that was actually really, really broken last patch and got nerfed decently this patch. Looking like, I mean, it should probably lose this fight most of the time. So, you know, I don't think it's like a bad showing of it by any means. But it is definitely a pretty convincing win for the Cho Ezreal reroll. And honestly, this spot, I talked about it looking pretty mediocre, you know, middle of stage 3. Now it's starting to look amazing. We farmed, remember, like 13 gold, I think it was, off of our Timebreaker wins. So all of a sudden that was plus 13 gold that we got to put into EXP. So we're not even low gold now. We had to roll really deep for Ezreal. But look, I mean, we're already level 7. We've made a ton of gold. Our board is winning very, I mean, this guy's board is amazing here. I think this is going to be a very close loss. I think Aurora can clutch this out here. And yep, we are going to lose this fight. This board that we're fighting here, by the way, I think another one of those reroll lines that I really expect to perform well. Oh, I was going to say you have to pick Kale here so that you get the Radiant item. But remember, well, if you don't know, I'll tell you right now, they changed Kale Boon this patch. Kale Boon now just provides your team 15 HP, 1 AD, 1 AP for each full item that you have. So in this spot here, it'd actually be providing us a decent bit here. We're going to end up with at least 8 full items here. So what is that? 15, 8, 120 HP, and then 8 AD and AP on our board. Not bad, honestly, for the whole board. Not crazy good, and you definitely want it in spots where you are very like item rich. So I think, you know, in this spot, I think he leans towards the Evelyn boon because he says, you know what, I don't care that much about the Kale boon. I'd rather have the 10% DR on my whole board, especially on this giant Cho'Gath here, who is just already insanely tanky with the amount of HP that he's stacked up. Remember, his scaling got buffed and his base HP got buffed and 4 Brawler got buffed. This comp got buffed and Ezreal got buffed and Tahm Kench got buffed and Maokai got buffed. And in some ways 4 Timebreaker or just vertical Timebreaker got buffed. In other ways, it kind of got nerfed because, you know, you aren't getting that much EXP early or the free rerolls early. But I mean, if you're in a spot like this where you ended up winning out a decent bit of stage 3 because you have your early 3 stars and you got to play 3 Timebreaker, I mean, we are just insanely rich here. Look at this win on stage 4. 4 EXP that we just got. That's plus 4 gold. Ooh, I don't think you can take this. You're looking for util, right? We have no armor shred and no heal cut here. I'd be looking for at least one of those. That's red buff Shojin. I think you probably have to take this here and just throw the items onto the Melio for now. I think this makes perfect sense. It gives us access to that heal cut. Once again, we are still missing out on our... Ooh, and then we're actually going to move the double Shojin here over, and instead of having the Nashers there, the idea being, I guess that... I don't know. I'm actually surprised because Nashers at least gives us a little bit of crit that will synergize with the IE. But his thought is just double Shojin's going to be better onto Ezreal. Just get this guy casting, get him scaling up with the mana on attack with the extra attack speed that we're getting from Clockwork Accelerator. We also do have all of this extra AD and AP that's flowing in via our early learnings here. We've really scaled up here. I do think this is one of the best augments in this comp just because if you can stabilize on anything reasonable, you are going to start snowballing really, really, really hard here. And if you win any fights, stage 2 and stage 3 with this line, and you have early learning scaling you up, yeah, I mean, you are just going to become unkillable and unbeatable very, very quickly. As you can see has happened this game. We do even find the Jhin. Wow, really big +1 that we get to play on this board here. And we are capping out with a pretty standard version of the line. 4 Timebreaker, 4 Brawler, and then just add a Sniper on top of this. Obviously, Jin's the best one because he gives you Darkstar and he gives you that Annihilator trait, both of which are amazing. But you can just play a Xayah over him if you don't end up there. Once again, another win, the +4. I'm blown away. This was +2, right? Stage 5 was +2 with old version of Timebreaker. I mean, I do think Timebreaker in some ways has been nerfed. You know, once again, losing those like super easy, just 2 Timebreaker rerolls on stage 2 is definitely big. But in a spot like this, it looks straight up buffed, which in addition to all the other stuff looks absolutely crazy. I don't know. I might be a Cho'Ez believer. I have this comp at 8 tier right now on my tier list. I might be, if we watch some more games, I might be bumping it up to S tier, low-key, because this looked crazy. You could take a Guardbreaker or you could take Anvil. I would take Anvil and risk it to try to find like an LW or an Even Shroud here. And we do find the Even Shroud, which is perfect. Gives us the Armor Shroud that we were lacking onto our board here. And the spot's just looking really, really nice. Cho itemization, by the way, we didn't really talk about too much. Something like this is totally fine on him. Anima Visage, obviously really nice on him because it provides him that healing. Cho'gath innately does not have any healing on his kit. He's actually just a damage tank, weirdly enough. He just bites. But if you build the Anima Visage here, then he can heal on this giant HP pool that he's scaling up. 9,000 HP! It is actually over 9k, which is pretty crazy in this spot here. So yeah, I mean, the Cho looks disgustingly strong here. The Anima healing up on top of that. And then aside from that, you really just want resists. Gargoyles are fine. Declaw Bramble looks really nice because those also scale with max HP and also, you know, give you really good stats on top of those. So those are the ones that I believe are best in the stats. But Double Gargoyle, it kind of does the same job here, especially with the extra HP off Solo Plate, man. Look at the size of this Cho'gath. Now, there is actually a pretty scary enemy board there that's playing around Master Yi Fiora stuff. That is another line that got very well buffed. This patch will probably be my VOD review for tomorrow if it's as good as I expect it to. I have that line in S tier on my comps list, so we'll see what ends up going on here, but I think it's very plausible that line is disgustingly strong here. We're going to roll down here. Do just have the Xayah as a random +1, though honestly, stuff like Morgan Chen I think are probably better. He is just going to play the Xayah here, though, for 3 Sniper and say, you know what, the extra tankiness doesn't matter. I just want more damage here. Red buff going to move down to Jhin here. And then, ooh, what are we taking? Kraken Jhin. Not the best in the world because Jin's a pretty slow auto attacker, but not the worst either. We blow up this board. Honestly, these are the 3 super buffed, well, in some ways, super buffed lines. It's that Urgot reroll line, which I think is very, very strong. It's Cho Ez line. And then first place looks to be, we'll see when we fight them. But yeah, they're like a Master Yi Brawler style board here. I will say, you can see Brawler, Brawler, Brawler in the top 3 here. I think Brawlers were buffed very, very hard this patch. This is the premier frontline now, and I will say, my god, look how quickly that Yi rips through our board, but Ez doing a lot of good work here, wins the fight. 13k damage from Ezreal. Oh my god. Okay, so we pick up the fight win there, just rolling down, saying, you know what, the game is going to be over before I get a chance to go 10, even with all the free EXP that we've got in this game. Oh wait, he checked Ez stacks there. I want to know, just for funsies, how many Ez stacks we're at here. 91 stacks. Wow, that is a good amount of drones. So this Ezreal is going to be doing, I mean, you can see, man, he's doing a lot of work in this in these fights here. All right, once again, just put the Cho in front of the main carries here. This Master Yi with the Radiant damage item, one of the AD items, that looks really, I mean, they buffed all of those pretty considerably. So I could definitely see playing for Psionic these days. It's just like, I'm actually really curious. I want to pause next time we see their board because I don't really know how you fit for Psionic. To be fair, on 9, it's a lot easier to fit than on 8 because you have stuff like Sona. Gragas is an easy +1. So like Sona Gragas is really easy to play. On 9, it's pretty easy to fit. On 8, I don't think so because they don't have, no, they actually do have Psionic Emblem. So yeah, they're just playing Sona plus Yi plus Gragas here, playing the vertical brawlers, Psionic Emblem here. Drone here, and then this one onto the Master Yi. They also have the BIS on Master Yi, the Edge of Night plus Giant Slayer. That is really, really good on Yi, and obviously really good against a board with a giant of its own, this giant Cho'gath here. I will say, though, Cho is eating a lot of units, and that is the dub for Riri. Just with this Ezreal reroll, early learnings, Ezreal Cho'gath, just absolutely farming the lobby. I mean, I will say, though, this top 4, I think is very emblematic of the lines that will be strong this patch. But we'll see. We will see. It's only day, for me, -1 of the patch. The patch hasn't even come out as you're watching this. You know, you're probably waking up to some lines. So try this comp out. Try this Master Yi Brawler stuff out. Try this Urgot comp out. I think Primordian, it bought for this game, but I think should be very strong as well. And yeah, we'll probably do a full meta overview after a couple of days are done. Because we also have to prep for this tournament, which I think I qualified for, by the way. I am 4th place on the wait list. I was legit 2 LP off of just easily qualifying, but I thought I was safe to sit, so I'm actually 4th place on the wait list, which should be fine. I mean, there's no way everybody checks in. I'm going to assume I'm playing the tournament on day 1 on Saturday. So come check me out when I'm streaming for that, though. We got a few days until that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please like the video. It helps out a ton. It is completely free. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. We just crossed 47K. We're closing in on 50K. Oh, baby. That is crazy. If we can break 50K, I don't know what I'll do. I should probably think of a 50K subscriber milestone because that is a big milestone. So if you watch my videos all the time and you're not subscribed, I'm sure there's people like that out there. I'd greatly appreciate it. Comment down below what you think of the patch, what you think of this Cho'gath comp, any of this kind of stuff. Follow me on Twitch. I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow, or as this video is coming out, I will be streaming 8 a.m. Pacific is when I start. So come check me out there and check out my Metafy as well if you ever feel lost on the patch and you want some help. You can check all my coaching out there. All right. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching as always. Bye-bye.